Welcome back to CPR's Clubhouse Live. My name is CPR Jose Ortiz, and I have a very special guest. I have Soave here with us on CPR's Clubhouse Live. Thank you for joining
Hello,
us.
brother man. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you as well. We haven't spoken in many years, and the last time that we had an interview was on FM radio. And even though I
Yes.
still I still do FM radio, we're actually featured on 6 different FM radios now. I wanted to do a face-to-face interview so the fans out there can enjoy it and also learn a little more about you if they
Of
don't know it
course.
yet, and also talk about the history and talk about some recent things that have happened.
Of
But
course, yeah.
I want to say, back in the day when I first got the "Crying Over You" record, my friend Lynx and I, Carmelo, we used to have a contest to see who could hit the note when you say you weren't worth my time. You know how the extended version carries your voice, right? I know you
Yes.
did it. I know you did it in one take, but
Yeah.
we tried to we tried to mimic it, and whoever lasted the longest, we didn't sound good at all, but whoever sounded the longest will be the winner. And so
That's
so
awesome.
we had the contest, and in the middle of the contest, we're both like doing the same note at the same time. His mother comes in and smacks us in the head with the mixer that she was using, because she's like, "You guys sound awful. Don't sing again." So we both
I
lost because we
love it.
both had
I
we
love
both had
it.
knots in our head, so we both lost.
I
But
love it.
"Crying Over You" is a great inspirational record. Um,
Thank
and
you.
and let me say, anyone who's ever been through a breakup has dedicated that song to their significant other at one
Yes, I'm
point in their
sure.
life. Yeah, so that's something that you should be proud of. It's a legacy that will continue on for so many years to come. But I just remember, back in the day when there was no social media, and I was at the radio station, and people would call in, Jesus the Juice Vasquez, and they were like, "You got Crying Over You?" And it's like, "Yes, we do. Can you dedicate it to my boyfriend? We just broke up. Tell him I want him back. Please tell him." Like, they wanted us to be the counselors back then.
I love it. I love it. It's funny because I speak to a lot of people who tell me that, and I gotta be honest. It's always and forever going to be it's just a compliment. It's such a wonderful
Yeah.
um attribute and something that I can always look back and say that people actually enjoyed that song. So I'm so blessed to have been a part of it. And, I was only a small writer on that song. I wrote the third verse, which I never even sing.
Right.
I wrote the talking part at the beginning because everything that I ever did was all about New Edition. And
Yes.
when Michael Vivian says, you lose some, you win some, you lose some, baby, you lost this one. And so I was like, how can I make it, a talking part and crying over you? And then the part that goes, I gave you all my love, gave you all my love. I
Hmm.
realize the part you were talking about, you weren't
Yeah.
worth my time. That and
Yeah.
I did write that part.
Yeah.
So
And like I said, that's synonymous with the contest that we used to have, and everybody thought they were Suave at the time. As a matter of fact, what does somebody get that name Suave? Was that something easy to come by, or was that something that was a gimmick that came up from out of nowhere?
when I was a kid, all my friends called me Suave. They're like, but they made it up. It was more of a oh, what do you think? A Suave, like Mr. Smooth, and it was more of a joke. And then um, in high school, it was either that or Lover Boy, and um, and then when I came out as an artist, I wanted to I didn't want to use Jeffrey Martinez because that wasn't going to work. So I used J Amor, and then Amor is obviously love, so J Amor and Jamor,
Jamore,
and
yeah.
that didn't work well. So I kind of just it kept going back to Suave, and that was
You gotta
never
love
never.
you gotta love those freestyle names that they come out with.
Yes, yes,
La
I know,
Morez. I'm like, La
I know.
Morez. I'm like, all right, cool, man.
Yep.
A little bit afterwards, when freestyle wasn't doing so well, they really skimped on the names. It was like Cheese Whiz, El Compay,
Right, right.
yeah,
It-
it was just simple names,
Unfortunately,
Jose.
we had to do it. We had to do it because if we didn't do it, we were going to get radio play, and that was the inevitable. Like, you know, we all wanted to use our real names, but if you put your real name down, you're not going to get anybody who actually plays your record. And that's the way that the industry was at that time. Last names of any Latino heritage were not going to get you radio play. So we were just hoping that somehow, some way they would hear Suave and they were like, I don't know who that Suave is. He sounds white. and then you end up somewhere in like Hickville, Texas, and you're like, oh, he's not white, but it's okay. I like him.
Then in the 90s it became a song, Rico
I know.
Suave. So
And so me and him kept every time they were asked me, is my name Rico Suave? And then I say, no, my name is Suave. You're talking about Gerardo. And he would get the same thing. So we were battling back and forth. And then
yes.
the next album, the first song on his next album was called My Name's Not Rico Suave.
Yeah, I remember
And
that. That album
so
didn't do too well, but you know,
no, it
we
didn't.
do.
But he got his message across.
He did. But the thing I love the most about your name is that the misspelling. They used to call you the conditioner shampoo combination.
Yes,
So it was
yes,
Suave, you know, with the little,
yes.
and it's like,
Yep.
no, it's not a shampoo. You got to do the flyer over again. You know.
Yes. So and it's spelled Soave.
Yeah. So
So
and
so
go ahead.
Soave, Soave, is actually a fine wine, and it's from Italy, and it's kind of like similar to like a Pinot Grigio with pear and lemon in it. It's very refreshing, and it's just a smooth summer drink. So
Well,
it all worked out.
your Latino contingency thinks you're you know, a conditioner and a hair wash.
Exactly, exactly. I know.
So look, man, you've been doing some really great things, and I know that we had a conversation back
Yes,
back a few years ago, and you talked about all the renditions that you wanted to do. You did a rendition to
yes,
George Michael before,
yes. I did.
I believe
Yep.
after he passed.
Don't you want
Um,
me?
a Human League, yes,
Is Yes, that's going to be on the album. George Michael's Everything She Wants is going to be on the album. I did a couple of really good collaborations with a few good artists. One of them was Freedom Williams. We did
nice.
the Denroy Morgan song called, um, I'll Do Anything for You. And that song is fire. I mean,
Now
that's
let
fire.
me ask you an important question. Why covers? We're not original Suave music.
Because the album was called Silky Sheets and Smooth Covers. So 8 songs of original sheet musics of originals, and then 8 songs of covers. So it was supposed
Nice.
to be almost like a nice album with an A and B side, and one side will be songs that people all grew up in that time period. And I was just kind of what I did was I was thinking to myself that when we do shows, even today, a lot of us have 1, 2, 3 songs that came out, and then the genre kind of just failed on its own, and we weren't able to continue it. At least not with the record labels' money. And
Yes.
at that point, we needed to do something to keep the show longer, to keep the crowd more engaged. And I remember watching I one of the first people I saw do it, I was literally in the midst of like the biggest time of freestyle, probably 90, 89. And I was in Miami. It was an outdoor event somewhere, and a group that was huge back then. Um, they all of a sudden in the middle of their show, they started doing these songs, and then they started doing dances with the song. They were doing Michael Jackson. I'm like, oh my God, what a
Mhm.
great idea. And then that was an idea that I had for a minute. And then all of a sudden, and so in a couple of songs, shows I did Belle Biv DeVoe songs because I was just such a big New Edition fan. I did Bobby Brown songs, and then I got away from that, went back to freestyle because when freestyle kind of left, people were looking for more freestyle. And then, if you recall, everybody did a freestyle song, but they did remixes of their own freestyle song, hip
Yes.
hop versions. And when we do shows, the
Reggaeton
crowd would,
songs, reggaeton
yeah,
versions.
yeah, the crowd would get upset
Hmm.
because the crowd's like, I came to see you sing your song the way you sang it back then. I don't need a hip hop version. And, because that's what we were listening to. So we're just trying to stay current. And then we realized how important it was just to stay, simple. But, years later, we're still trying to keep it active. So now I have a whole bunch of songs in there that bring you back to the 80s and,
In the 90s, in the mid 90s, when freestyle wasn't where it was supposed to be, they were doing a lot of remakes too. They did a
yes.
remake of Crying Over You. Um,
Yes, I
uh,
heard a couple.
yeah, Ron Conti did one, I believe.
Yes, he did. Ron Conti's one.
Yeah. And so, you know, let's talk about remakes. I think that the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to remakes is that you're never going to get booked by you doing a remake, right? So
Oh
nobody's
no,
going to
hell
say,
no.
no one's going to say,
Yeah.
hey, I want to book Suave because he did a remake of a song. They want to book
Like
Suave,
Drummond's not getting he's not getting booked because he did a cover of
I believe in love,
Journeys.
yes. Yeah, and don't stop believing. But then that's the point that I want to make. The covers are done for a reason, and they're done out of respect, and they're done
Yeah.
to show a rendition of something that you love.
Yes.
And so I think that when we look at 2022, 2023, right now, currently, your remake of Baby Don't Go, it's loved by many, but at the same
Yeah.
time, you got some pushback on it as well. So, what I want to say is when it comes to a remake, if it's done tastefully,
Yeah.
as you have done, I say there's a lot of layers and layers of goodness.
Yeah.
If you sit
Yes.
down and you listen, if you put all your thoughts aside, all anything that has to do with the song aside, and you listen to the care, the arrangement, the addition, the
The
respect,
heart. Yes. Yes.
the heart and soul that you put into it, you know that this is a great remake, right? And there's only a few great remakes, right? You talk about Denise's Last Chance, you talk about George Lamont's I Believe in Love, and now we're talking about
Yes.
Suave's Don't Go. Not only did you work with Edwin Ramos to make an Edwin Ramos version of it, which if you
Yeah.
listen to it, again, layers and layers of vocals, just a lot
Yes.
of love put into that. There's also a Jay Allen's version of that
Yeah. Which is incredible. I never released it,
right. And then there's also a Willie Valentine version of it
which is
as
also
well.
incredible. Yes.
So again, if you didn't respect the song, right, and if you didn't want to do a good job, you would
I
have
wouldn't
just
have
done
gotten good quality people involved.
absolutely. And so maybe I'm having a little commentary in here with you, but I just feel that the community, they like to have that selective.
Yes. Yes.
Chris Rock talked about it, right? And it's like for some people it's okay to do it, right? And they don't do a good job. But this one that was perfectly executed, somebody always has to have an issue. But the points that I want to make, one, you're never going to get booked for singing Baby Don't Go.
No. No.
You're going
No.
to
No.
get booked. You're going to get booked because you sing Crying Over You.
Absolutely.
That's the fact that I
Absolutely.
want to make. That's a fact. Because you sing If You Want Me, because you sing Don't Look Back, but mostly
Correct.
because of Crying Over You, right?
Yes.
And then
That is true.
when you remake a song, if the care and the love and you hear it in the song that
Yes.
there's a respect there, there shouldn't be a problem. And
There
so
should never be.
right, I
But
feel that
I understand. I get it. Like there's a lot to that, and I haven't really spoke about it because I wasn't, I didn't want to try to give light to something that really shouldn't be. Um, there should be no negativity of it because I didn't do anything incorrectly, and I went to the proper channels to tell. First off, when you do a remake, Georgia didn't call Steve Perry and say, "Can I do?" Don't Stop Believing. Judy didn't call Journey and say, "Can I do Faithfully?" And I can go through a million remakes that have kept our genre alive, and
the
not just
greatest
us.
the greatest remake of all time is TKA. You Are the One. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
You know what I
yes.
mean? Greatest
And there's
remake of
so
all
many.
time. Yes.
But because we just happen to be in a small knit community, there's such a big story behind the whole thing. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to the fact that I just respectfully addressed the person who was previously part of the group that was performing it, and he was in the group. But I just wanted him to know what my intentions were because me and him have been friends for many, many years, 30 something years, and I don't
Right.
have anything but love for him and for who his entire crew was about because I remember looking up to them as a kid. Like, they were all a little older than me and we all grew up in different times, but I remember coming to their shows and just being around them and the camaraderie and the love and respect that I had. So I felt that I needed to tell him and I just said it was never a problem at all. He didn't have any issues with it. But respectfully, maybe he went home and after thinking about it, and talking to a couple people, some people sometimes you get a second opinion about what you thought and it sits with you for a little while. Maybe it was a very touchy subject and it bothered him and later on he just didn't know how to address it and say anything, so he just kept quiet and didn't say a word. I didn't know,
Right.
and I found out after the song was out, and or after the song was I think they played it for Thanksgiving. That was like the first listening, and that's when I started hearing stuff, and it bothered me. I mean, I didn't really, I'm sure you see, I haven't done anything to push the song because at that point,
Yeah.
I'd rather have. I know there's thousands of people who said they love it, but I'd rather have someone who it means something different to them be okay with it. And I didn't. I maybe there was just a lot more to it that I really should have known that I didn't know. But going back to what this original conversation was about, I put a lot of heart and soul and energy in that song because I
I
didn't
know.
want it to be
I can hear
anything
it.
but right. But I wasn't trying to make it better. That's not the point at all. I just wanted to make sure that whoever heard it said, listen, he did his thing. And the person who did that song or the people who were part of it, they could say that at least it was done well. And that's all you
I
can ever
never
want.
I would never say that you did better. I said that because of technology
Yeah.
and because of the way we produce now, you don't have to, the quality maybe have improved. There's things that you could do.
Yeah.
You could send your
Yes.
vocals to Jay Alms in Boston and he can do his version. You could send your vocals to Connecticut and Willie Valentin
Yes.
will do his version. And go to Edwin Ramos' studio and
Yes.
work out of there. So that's what I mean. And there are parts
Yeah, yeah.
that enhance the song, but
Yeah,
in
I
no
just wanted
ways.
to keep the essence of the song. I wanted because that song was such a great song, and the reason why I did it is because um I had a conversation with my sister who passed away, and prior to her passing away, she was listening to the songs that I had done for this album. That album that I told you that was supposed to be called Silky Sheets and Smooth Covers is probably going to be named Angie, Angie's Curls, or Angie's Eyes, something to that effect, right?
Right.
But we were demoing the songs. I was letting her listen to what I've already accomplished. And then she asked me, I hadn't even done a freestyle song yet as a remake. And she said to me, why aren't you doing a freestyle remake? I said, I don't get it. Why would I do that? Like, this was 80s. She goes, yeah, but people know you for freestyle. So why don't you do a song that, you know, hasn't been out for a while, whatever. I was like, well, there was only like three songs that I would want to do. And I started naming them to her, and she was like, "Oh, let's listen to them." So we downloaded them in the hospital. Was laying there in the bed, and I'm letting her listen. And she said, "That one right there is my favorite." I said, "Oh my God, that was always my favorite too. Was Baby Don't Go." It was between that one, "I Burn" by Marshall Jones, and I think Tomax "Regrets Only."
Yes. So,
So
and
those are the
again,
three.
as you stated, the songs mean two different things to two different
Oh
people.
yeah,
And
yeah,
there's a lot of love for the members of Fast Forward,
yeah.
friends of mine as well.
Yep.
I remember running away from Nelson Cruz at the Puerto Rican Festival many years back because I booked him and he came too late, right? He got there too late, so the show was over. And he jumped over a railroad track fence and cut his leg just so he could try to perform, but it was too late. And then he came up
Oh
to
my
me,
God.
and I know about his temper and stuff like that, and he was getting a little rowdy, so I had to pull him aside, talk to him. But as soon as he turned around, I was ghost. We had a
Yeah, yeah.
conversation after. May he rest in peace. It's just
He was good. He always just loved me. He was so good to me. And when I say every time I'm around him, he just made me feel larger than life. That was his. But I will tell you, I've been around him and I've seen him. Like you said, he either loved you, or he hated. He didn't have any way of bullshitting. So,
yeah,
and the same thing for his crew. We were always very good, close friends, and as close as you can be when you don't see each other every single day. It's not like we have dinner and but when I see them, nothing but love and respect. And so, I gotta. It hurt that they felt that way, especially after. But you know what? I understand, so I'm not mad at it, and I've moved on. I'm looking forward to this next release, and
yeah.
I got
Before
so
we
many after that.
before we continue, so the Jay Adams version and the Willie Valentine version, they're not gonna see the light of day. You're gonna not
I don't
release
know.
them.
Maybe one day I'll do an album just for remixes, and maybe I'll throw them on there, or I'll put it on the album itself as a extra. But I'm not going to release them as singles. I think it's just the right thing to do.
I,
It's
I
not
wa-
that
so
important to me, man. I don't want to. I don't want to.
so side commentary from a person that has all versions, and I have the permission to play them.
Yes.
They're so well done. They're so unique individually, and
Right.
everybody puts their own spice into it. Like for example, the Willie Valentine version has a rendition in the production of "Crying Over You" in the
Yes.
production,
Yeah.
and the samples of the '80s that he put on there, excellent. Jay Adams, he modernized the song, and he has his own twist, of course. And Ramos traditional,
Yeah.
just Mr. 20 different variations of vocals. It's just three
Yeah.
different stories being told in three different remixes,
I
and
just wanted it to sound like it was a you can obviously hear the essence of it because it was such a great song. And for me, like one thing about music, it brings you back to the specific moment in time. and it was such a great happy time, that song and running and I Burn and Out of the Heart and any Maria and Lydia Lee Loves Don't Take Your Love Away, like those.
Yeah.
There's just so many great songs that when you hear them, it brings you back to this great moment, and that was such a wonderful moment for me. So
And so
I wanted to.
my only thing about remakes, and we'll end it here with the remix, right? It's that I appreciate people that make it their own and that they
Yes,
have their spin on it. What I don't
yes,
like is when people mimic the original and try to sound like the
right,
original and don't make it
exactly.
their own. But sometimes those that mimic and don't make it their own get a pass, while the people that really put their heart and
I
soul
just
into it.
wanted to be, yeah, I wanted the essence of the song, but I wanted
Mhm.
it to be something that was, a different spin on it, and you know, at the end of the day, I'm very proud of what I did. I wish it would have went a little differently, but it's all good. At the end of the day, I'd rather have um, a few people who didn't appreciate it feel better about it than the thousands who really did.
So let's talk about Crying Over You. Go back in
Yes.
time to 1989. That record was big. And did you know that it was that big, or did you
No.
think that it was going to be that big
No.
all these years later?
Never. Never. I'm very thankful and appreciative and honored and blessed and so humbled because it became a cult classic, and and it's not just the song, it's the people who were involved in the song. Like, I grew up, I remember when it first came out, and prior to it coming out, we're in the studio over and over again. I'm 18 years old at the time, turning 19. I know how to sing, but raw. I don't know how to produce background vocals and stuff like that. And so, I have my own ideas and I'm using them, but they're limited. So I'm looking for some direction. Owen was limited in what he knew. He knew how to spin. He was a really good DJ. He came up with, the bass line and the drums and stuff like that. But we got Elvin Molino involved and we got Mickey Garcia involved. And then with all together, them together just kind of made it a great song. And then, I still felt there was something missing. I kept asking him, can we get somebody who can just sing background vocals and like give me some direction? He was like, I don't know. Let me see what I can do. And I remember we were going to the studio the following week, and prior to coming to his house to go to the studio, he goes, "Hey, by the way, I worked on your song, yesterday in the studio." I was like, "You did?" He was like, "All right, well, what'd you come up with?" He goes, and then I hear Danny Whip Man Vargas, and he's singing backgrounds, and so I was like, "Oh, that's great. Okay, good. So when are we gonna cut the vocals?" He goes, "What do you mean when are we gonna cut the vocals? I did them." I said, "Wait, that's Danny on the background. Why is Danny singing backgrounds on my song?" And he says, "Well, you asked me to get you background." I said, "No, I asked you to get somebody to show me what to sing.
Hmm.
I can do that." He goes, "No, no, no, don't touch it. I love his voice on there." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's my song. Why is it?"
Hmm.
And in the beginning, I was like, a little taken back. And then it didn't take too long for me to get over it. And I got to tell you, we obviously became great friends, and he made magic to that song because the
Absolutely.
way that, in my eyes, if he wouldn't have been on the background, I don't think the song would have the traction and the love that it really got. There was definitely Danny was like the magic behind that song to me.
It's
And
kind of ironic that the two men that
yeah,
we discussed, or the two songs that we discussed, the main men that were part of those songs were taken from
they're
us by
gone.
COVID,
No,
and then something that it resonates with us to this day, all these years later, even though
yep,
it's been only been a couple. But when you say names like Elvin Molina and Owen Soba and Nicky Garcia, that those
yeah,
are names that, with time, it feels like people have forgotten,
I know.
and I love the history of our music. It is so rich. And the fact that social media really, I don't know, is going too fast to the point where we don't
Yes,
get to enjoy these names like Elvin Molina, Owen Soba.
yes,
Come
he
on,
was
the West,
incredible,
let the
man.
rhythm hit him. Like great
Yes,
things
yes,
like that.
yes,
Um, and so, I wish that the folks that focus so much on the negative part of our music will go back in time and learn the history, because
yes,
if we don't teach the history, it ends here and that's it. And
yes, it does.
the reason why I like to do these conversations and discuss it, because to discuss Alvin Molina and Owen Soba, Mickey Garcia, Mick Mack Records. I mean, when you go into a store with a Mick Mack record section
To
is
this day.
because of the
When it
cover,
first came out, I thought it was
everything.
crazy, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. I remember they first named it, I was like, what the hell is that? Like a comic book.
Hmm.
But Mickey and what was his name? Marvin Schlachter.
Yep.
They were smart. They knew they had that was vision beyond
You have
because
to understand. It was my duty to buy every single Micmac and have them in order with the number. I
yep.
even got that Menudo one.
Wow, yes, yes, yes. Oh my Lord.
Dancing, moving, shaking. Don't remake that one,
Yes.
please. I want to forget about that one. But I
No,
got
no.
all of them. I got Mikey Confusion. I got every single one all in a row. And the good thing about it is when they came out with that glossy red and yellow cover,
That's what
um,
I mean. That was just
yeah,
everything, man.
amazing, right? It's like before it was like kind of bland and it was, like,
Exactly.
and then they reissued them. I got them over again, so I have doubles of
Yes.
everything.
And
Um,
the new cover was everything because, like you said, no matter where you were at, no matter what city you were in, you look down at the crate and you can find a Micmac record because you know
yes,
what it looks like on the edges.
excellent, excellent. What Mickey
It
Garcia and
was
Marvin did,
marketing was incredible. Yeah.
amazing marketing. So
Absolutely.
and right now, if you go to a record store, you don't have to look for the Micmac records. You know what they look
It,
like.
absolutely.
All you do is skim and Micmac record, Micmac record.
Yep. Yep. You
Even in
look
the
at YouTube.
movies, even the movies where they have records showing, you can see the Micmac record,
100%.
100%. So that's amazing. If you want me, don't look back. Your follow-ups in 1990 and 1991. These
I
are great
loved If
songs.
You Want Me. That was my favorite.
Yeah. If you want me is the fact that you did a rendition in the rap. You know what I mean?
So everything that I've done, right? Everything that I've done is a derivative of something that I loved.
Right.
So Crying Over You, If You Want Me, Don't Look Back. Okay, just so you know, you mentioned something before about the OS thing. I
Yes.
was the very first freestyle artist who gave props to his producer, and then everybody started doing it. But the reason
Yes.
why I did it was because at the time it was New Edition, Keith Sweat, I'll be sure. And I'll be sure I had Kyle West, and he would say, Kyle West, break it down. So I
Mhm.
was like, oh, West, break it down. Like, I used to always try to kick it back to him. And then next thing you know, O was like, yo, I'm going to put this with Tonasia. So Tonasia did it. Then next thing you know, other artists do it. I'm laughing. I'm thinking it was so cool because that was something that I did just because I wanted to be like New Edition so bad, or I'll be sure, or Keith Sweat. And those cats right there, they were running in the same circle at the time. And that
Well, you are our version of all those artists in our genre of music, because you come up there and it's like the spirit of all those artists are in you when you're on stage.
That's how I feel all the time, man. I did a little rap because Bobby Brown was rapping on his
Mhm.
song, so I did in the beginning of and I wasn't the first one to rap. Other people did
Right.
that, but I'm just saying in freestyle, I wanted to do a little rap just because I felt like I wanted to be like Bobby or Ronnie
Yeah.
Bobby, Nicky and Mike. Well, I love a girl who cares who you like. That was just the thing.
Yeah, and that you even said it, the similar ending to the rap, because you want to do
Absolutely.
me, so it was like,
Yes.
yeah, so
That was from
yeah,
Do Me Baby.
yeah. So,
And
again, the respect is there, the renditions are there. And again, that's what the community needs to know. When a classic artist, when one of the originators, when one of the folks that build this music, right, does a
yeah.
rendition of a song, they do it with the utmost respect for the most part.
Yes, and
But
that really was what it was about.
yeah.
And I think it hurt a little bit because, I know one day someone's gonna do it anyway.
Mhm.
Like they're gonna do my song and every other song, right?
Did you
So in
hear?
my
Did you hear the rendition they did of your song?
yeah, I heard a couple of them. There's like three of them.
Ouch.
I know. But you know
Okay.
what? You're right. You're right. They weren't great.
Mhm.
Not to put anybody down,
No,
but
I'll do it. They were bad. They were really bad.
but see, in my mind, I look at it like this. It's the biggest it's a compliment. Like, they're actually somebody who cares about your song so much that of all the songs they could have done, they picked your song to redo it. And that's why I think we owe it to ourselves that when we do remakes, like so we're talking about one remake, but prior to doing that remake, there's six of them sitting there that I already did.
Mhm.
I just haven't released them yet.
Yep.
It was Angie in the hospital that spoke to me and said, "One, and that would be the song you should do." She never got to hear it.
Hmm.
But and I told Louis that when I saw him, he was respectful. He came over to me and said, I saw him in the summer. It was right around this time. It was like actually, I'm sorry, it was July. And he came over, and my sister just passed, and he said, "I'm sorry, I heard about it. I came with my girl or somebody to support you. I was so happy to see him." And I said, "Listen, I want to tell you something after I sing. I want to, have a conversation with you." But that was the song that she loved, and so me doing it, I just wanted to make sure that, like in my mind, I'm thinking, somebody's gonna do it. But for having somebody that that you're supposed to be, that you respect, I would think you would have a much more. And you
I
know
think
what?
I think some yeah,
That
and
probably isn't so far from it. I think it's just a lot
yeah.
more. It's not. It's much more than a song. It's much more than the
Yeah,
song itself. It's
it's a
meant.
legacy. It's what they've
Right,
they put
right.
in, right? But
I get it.
the one thing that I dislike is the distasteful remakes where somebody's trying to get booked by remaking somebody else's song. That's an issue to me, and that has happened
Yeah.
with the newer
Really?
artists. Yeah, yeah, the newer artists are have done that where they have
I
remake
can't imagine
songs.
anybody though getting who's
So
gonna book
so
somebody for that.
imagine somebody remaking a Judy Torres song and trying to sing the Judy Torres song while Judy Torres is booked on the same
That's
show.
incredible. No, you can't do that.
Right,
And
exactly.
and
So
that's the reason why I hadn't, because he hadn't been singing that song in years. Had I seen him doing it, I wouldn't do it. And it's just I wouldn't disrespect anybody, especially somebody I know, like who I care about. It's not that important to me.
yeah, there was one with Trilogy when there was a three men that redid Latin Love, and it was a great rendition of Latin Love, but he came back out and they were respectful about it and said, okay,
Yeah,
we won't sing the song again,
of
and
course. Yeah,
please have it back. But if you're trying to sing somebody else's song while they're there booked, that's a
that's
little cheesy to
ridiculous.
me.
I would
Uh,
never do
or
that.
or somebody that remakes a song and the person's still active and they're singing that song and is their only song.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and that has happened recently, and I did not like that. And so we just have to have tact when it comes
Sure,
to
I agree.
remix.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love listening to you talk about Owen Soba, Elvin Molina, Mickey Garcia. Um, did you go through the same things that has plagued the history of freestyle music and any young artist, and that is those contracts where you weren't supposed to get your just due from the record that you put out?
I'll tell you this, Jose, and this is the truth. We all, when you get into the NFL, you sign your first contract. It's never a good one. When you get into the NBA, whatever you do in life, when you first start doing it, when you get your first house, your interest rate is never the best. When you buy your first car, most likely it's not the one with the BMW logo on it. For the when you start off in anything you do, you're never going to get the best version of it. So people can look back and say, you know, Mickey and Sal and there's a million different people
Mhm.
who supposedly screwed us over when we were kids. Okay, so look, at the end of the day, if they would have said to him, "Hey kid, come here, let me show you something. This is the contract you're going to sign, and I'm telling you right now, you're going to get screwed over. However, I'm going to put you on stage. You're going to make money from shows. You're going to have all these people who love you. Are you in?" How many people are going to say no to that? So
Everyone's going to say
once
yes.
if at the end of the day, if you already know that's part of the game, then limit the amount of time that you're in the game without control.
The best
Once you get out,
the best response I ever heard, including yours, was the one that Cynthia gave about 10 years ago at a show backstage. Somebody was discussing the same thing, and she responded with, "Here I am all these years later,
yep,
and I'm getting paid 4 times a week, 4 different
yes,
shows. After I get out of here, I'm gonna get on a plane. I'm gonna get on another show. So
yes,
I'm getting so for the same songs that I did all those years ago. So the people that made money off of me made their money, but now
yes,
I'm she's reaping what she knows, and
absolutely,
she's the hardest working female artist I've seen. She's
yes,
everywhere every weekend,
yep,
and so same thing with you. There's a hustle that goes in now with
yep.
um all the efforts that you put when you were younger. Now you get to um reap the benefits, and that's
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing 50, 60 shows a year for years. I mean, like, do you think that I'm really getting screwed over? Okay, so I didn't get all the money I could have gotten, or supposedly there was out there from all these record sales. I don't know. Maybe that's true. But, I'm in control now. So now I get to choose what I get paid on, what I don't get paid on, and so forth. And you know, I just don't think you can say whatever you want. You forget the fact that back then the cost of putting the production together was 5 to 10 times greater than it is today. 30 years later, you would think that it was so much cheaper then. It was so much more.
Hmm.
You had to spend a lot of money, and they never charged you a dollar. You went into these studios on the dime of the record label, so they took an investment on you, and they took a chance on you.
And the
Yes, they're supposed
pressings,
to get a return on their investment.
the pressings of the CDs, the pressing for the
Yes,
vinyl, it's not like it
right.
is now. It's crazy. You couldn't
Yeah, there
charge
was digital.
you couldn't charge $35 for a vinyl back then.
Absolutely not.
It was four
Absolutely not.
dollars and 68 cents.
Correct.
Yeah, it's and then if you got it on clearance, maybe it was $3, $2.
Yes.
You know, but
And you're
again,
talking about 30, 40 artists. So, like, you know, 30 or 40 artists that have to be prepared to go through all that work through the record label. Yeah, I get the fact that we all got the short end of it, but it, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, you're the guy putting the money up. You need to return your investment.
I
So
love.
just as person.
I met Marvin Schlachter once. I brought him a
Yeah.
compilation, and he offered me $1,000, and I just said, I just spent five on it. You know what I mean? Like what? You know what I mean? I'm like, thank you, but no, thank you. But again, it's just the risk that you take.
Yeah.
I believed in my team, so we went out and we were successful independently. And now you get to, there is no more Mick Mack. As a matter of fact,
Right.
a lot of those, from what I was told and what I've been told, is that at the end they threw a bunch of boxes out of tons of vinyl and CDs, and they could have
So
given back to the
sad.
artist, but
Yeah.
it was just like I would have been diving, I would have dumpster
Oh yeah.
diving like nothing. But the fact that you're still here and I see you on a lot of different flyers, that's a
Yeah.
testament to our music and the love that people have for our music. I think that that's the important part. Uh, Now let's talk about this album. So you're gonna rename it and dedicate it to your sister?
Yes. Yes. Because she loved all the songs that were on there. So, it's just something that I feel like we had a great relationship, but at the same time, I could have been a much better brother. And I think we all have that, you know, um, every one of us goes through times when you should have stepped up somewhere along the way. I know there's some great brothers out there who have never ever um, can never say, I didn't do everything. I'm not saying that I didn't. I'm just saying that everybody could be better.
Mhm.
So when I look at the things I could have done this more. I could have said this more. We could have went to lunch and to dinner more. And so I've been dying to do an album for so long, and for some reason or other, every time I get a little real close, something slows me down. Whether it's finances, whether it's my job, whether it's COVID,
Mhm.
and now I'm in control. And so the songs that I redid, I'm redoing the songs that I redid just to get them more
Yeah,
together for today's.
I've been told by the producers, all three of them, that you're very meticulous, and that
Yeah,
there's, and again, that's one of the things that I like about you now that I
right.
know you. The fact that, and then when you listen to it, it's like, okay, I understand why he wanted it that way.
Yes,
And if you listen to "Baby Don't Go," you can listen and put them in the headphones and listen to the entire song over and over again. You hear just little vocals in the background and big
yes,
vocals and long vocals. And
yes.
I'm like, man, that's awesome. Um,
Yep.
so what are the eight covers that you did, and what are the eight songs that you're gonna put on here?
All right. So I did a whole bunch of collaborations with some really talented people. I did one with Freedom Williams, which is going to come out on the album, and it was called I'll Do Anything for You. That one was a Denver Morgan song. I did a song with Veronica, an incredible singer, and that one was How Much I Feel. We made that into a dance track. It's an old Ambrosia song. I did the Baby Don't Go song that you heard. I did the George Michael Everything She Wants.
I
I'm
have that
doing
one.
Human
Yes.
Needs. Yeah, and you know what? Even as far as that, I'm gonna redo that because there's
Mhm.
I just got to make it a little
I like it. I
more
like it.
bang.
I like the work. I like the hard work. You just got to put the
Yeah,
best vocals possible.
exactly. And then the one that I also did that I'm working on now, which will be out soon, is the Human League song "Don't You Want Me."
Mhm.
And then the one that will be out on March 29th this month. which I'm really excited about. I did a reggaeton version of
Who do you love?
Who Do You, Who Do You Love? Who Do You Love? And that
Bernard
song is,
Wright.
yes, Bernard Wright, yes. And I worked on that one with Shorty C from Connecticut, up and coming reggaeton artist. He's incredible. So
So
everybody,
is this something that this experience you're gonna bring onto the stage, right? You're gonna,
oh my God, yes,
yeah,
yes. But
absolutely.
but not. You got to remember that it depends on the kind of show. So people don't expect you to come on a show and then do all your new shit. They don't care about that stuff. That's
No,
not
we
what
know. I
they
understand that.
want you to. Yeah. But if I do
The
my
Sal
own
Abatella
show,
rule. Sal Abatella
correct.
rule.
That's it. And when you come on stage and you're doing a show for your own fans and it's your show, then you can have as much time as you want and you let them know what you're expecting them to hear. You can even be nice enough to give them a run list and say, here's what I'm going to be singing tonight. And you can invite your collaboration friends along as well. But that is definitely a different show that I'll do. And that's going to be fun in its own thing. So and there's some more, and I have a whole bunch of original songs that I'm really excited about. Mostly ones that I wrote, but I'm also open to having other people write for me too, because that doesn't have to be all about me. I love giving love, and I love giving back to those who also want to, better themselves and write something that someone else can sing. And that's something
So
exciting for
so
me.
if my cousin Antonio Mercado is watching this,
Yes,
submit your
there you
music.
go,
Who produced it?
Eddie Ramos.
Ah, see, I knew it.
Yeah.
How much fun do you have at Platinum Recording Studio in
So I'm
Connecticut?
there every week.
Wow.
I have a set day that I go, and we could start at 11 or 12 in the afternoon and be there until 11 or 12 at night. And we just work. It's great because we work very well with each other. So I will say I like doing this, and he'll say, "Okay, that sounds good," and he'll throw me a melody. I'll run with his melody, and then sometimes I'm in the box thinking, why am I singing it this way?
Hmm.
It sounds so ridiculous, but I don't even say nothing. I just listen to what he says. Because I would never, ever sing it the way he just told me to sing it. But that's what you need. You need somebody who can bounce, and then he plays it back, and then you double it, and now he's harmonizing that same work that you just did. And I'm like, what the hell? It came out great.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and then I'll tell him, I think this should go here. He goes, all right, let's try it. And so we just work off of each other very well. And it's you have to be open-minded enough to say that you don't know all the answers. And if you're open-minded to say that I'm willing to submit sometimes and let somebody else who has a different ear give his expert opinion and his love in there. He doesn't want to do anything that's not going to make him look good. So, whatever he's telling you to do is probably going to work.
What can you tell me about your 1994 song, Where Did We Go Wrong?
Oh, I love that song. So
Brewster.
that's yeah, Brewster Records. That was Ellis Pacheco. It was a Jelly Bean Benitez production because my manager at the time, Phil Caggiano, was trying to get me a deal with Tommy Boy, and I had pretty much the deal was locked. It was done, and I messed it all up. But after it was done, Ellis Pacheco had been working with me. He goes, listen, let's just finish this song, and we'll just release it on Brewster. I said, okay. So I wrote it, and he produced it. I think he had just finished doing a song with Yvonne.
Hmm.
Was it Yvonne?
Yep.
Party going on. There's a party going on. And yeah, so that song I loved it, but it didn't really have much traction because it was at the end of Freestyle. So
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah, but
it was in the Metropolitan, almost going out of business sale.
yeah, yep,
Yeah, and they were the distributors. But it's a song that if somebody is a Suave fan and they seek out, they will become a fan of the song because again, the intricacy is there, the production's there.
oh yeah,
It's just a different style. You moved away from Mick
hundred
Mack
percent,
and Owen Soba and
yes.
Mickey, and now you're working with another. You hear the
And you could
a
tell that
different
there's a
production.
difference. Yes, yes. And the one thing that the difference between production back then and production today is it was always controlled. Everything was so controlled. So crying over you, if you want me, don't look back. Even where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong was a little less controlled in the first three because I told Ellis, I said, Ellis, I'm not going to be rushed. If I have to redo it again, if I don't like the way that sounds, I'm coming back to redo it. And he'd be like, no, that's cool. That's cool. I get it. Because you're saying, well, I don't understand. Why do we have to redo that over? I said, because I don't like the way I just said, you know, the way I meant it, like
Mhm.
it didn't sound right. It's supposed to have this inflection in it, and I'm just crazy like that. And he's like, you know what it is when you're controlled so much that you can't have a space to say anything. It lingers in you, and now you have to do things your way, and that's kind of the reason why. So I won't release a song, even if you think it's good, unless I really think it's something that everyone really likes, and that's
And
why it took so long for me to
and
release things.
that's the best part of being an independent contractor and being your own boss. And you have your business, you do what you do, and then you have your singing business. So you separate them and you control them the way that you want.
Absolutely.
Same thing goes for my radio show, my podcast, my FM radio
Mhm.
stations that I collaborate with. They have no say in what I play, which is
Right.
amazing because back in the day, and even to this day, if you're on an FM radio station, they give you a list of what to play. I get to play new quality freestyle anytime that I want, any song that I want. That's the
That's
best.
great.
That's awesome. And we're
Yeah.
definitely going to keep playing all your music. And I wanted to
I
come on
appreciate
here.
that so much, bro.
I wanted to come on here with you and talk to you about how much I appreciate your rendition of Baby Don't Go. And the effort is there. I appreciate the effort. I hope that
Thank you.
someday the folks that didn't get an opportunity to own the Jay Allums remix or the Willie Valentine remix, that they have an opportunity to own it. Um, and I hope that people understand the differences when um, someone remakes a song and someone does a rendition to the point where they're trying to not only make it as good as the original, elevate it or make it their own, but also pay respect to it. Is there any collaboration that you want to do in freestyle when it comes to a team up of some kind, whether it be
I
female
mean,
or male?
I'm very I listen to songs and I know when those songs is right. So in freestyle, I mean, me and George, um, Anthony have been talking about doing a song.
Oh,
Me and
okay.
Cynthia,
We can't have you guys on
yeah,
stage at the same time.
that's gonna be dope. We're gonna do a
Implosion.
song.
No, the prettiest men in two generations getting together and it's gonna blow up the,
It's gonna be we're gonna kill a song.
all the
I'm
freestyle
also
hyperspace.
oh that's awesome. I'm definitely doing the song with Cynthia, soon. But it's a different type of song. It's not really freestyle, but
Mhm.
you know, I'm sure there'll be a freestyle version of it if need be.
Absolutely.
Let's see who else. I mean, I'm constantly doing things with George and Kay. So those were were part of the Rat Pack, and
Yeah.
and of course Coro and Cynthia and Judy, and those are all people that I want to do stuff with. But right
Anyone
now.
recent? Anyone from the newer artists that you've come across that you would like to collaborate with or
The
that you like?
only new artist right now that I have really any, I would say, is GA. That's I haven't really found anyone else yet. It doesn't mean I won't. I just haven't yet. That's it. Also has to do with chemistry and how much time you want to spend in. I don't want to say I love freestyle. I'm so thankful and blessed and humbled that I'm part of freestyle because it's something bigger than all of us. But I'm also part of a mentality to change the sound of freestyle, make it maybe a newer style so that we can continue the genre going. And it has to
Evolution is
be
great.
enough. Yeah, and it has to evolve to a place where it pushes over to the pop sound. And there's a lot of great, there's so many good new people, and we just need one of them to step up. But it doesn't mean that one of us old guys doesn't open the door again. So I
Absolutely.
just want to be there and
The thing
thank
is,
whoever
it's
does.
funny, it's called freestyle, and they want to pigeonhole you, right, to one
Yeah,
specific sound, and
exactly.
you want to be free, and you are free because you're the epitome of independent, right?
Yep.
But please continue to share your art.
Thank you.
March 29th, Who Do You Love, Soave. I can't wait for it.
It'll be
Hopefully
dope.
the link will be available so we can put it with the video. And I can't wait for the pre-orders and to listen to the quality that comes out of Platinum Recording Studios, how you and Edwin get together to make magic.
We got some magic. I swear, it feels like I'm with Timberland. Like I
Yeah.
feel like it's Justin and Timberland in there every week.
The good thing about Edwin, and I'll pay him a compliment, and he'll probably burst into flames when he hears it, is that he comes from freestyle, but he also dabbled in so many other genres of music, and he's also experienced in R&B, pop, and
Yes, yes,
and he has everything together, and he knows you guys personally, so he takes it personal in his work. So
of
he wants to
course,
make sure that you guys leave there with the best quality possible. Um,
absolutely.
so I'm gonna leave it there because now he's gonna be like, I can't believe you paid me a compliment after 25 years. It happened, Edwin. It happened finally.
There you go,
But
E-Ray.
but Suave, thank you so much for joining us here on CPR's Clubhouse Live, and
I
nothing but the
appreciate
best.
you very much, brother. Thank you. And next time we'll do it in person.
Absolutely, absolutely. The radio station is always up and up for you to come and visit in person.
Thank you, my brother.
Until next time, is CPR saying goodbye for Suave. My name is CPR Jose Ortiz, and remember, it's not who you love, it's how. Talk to you soon.